creatures. The Reverend asks them to join his flock, but Hugh refuses and walks away. They manage to safely return home with antibiotics, and Kelly begins to recover. The next day, Allie approaches Hugh and informs him that she watched the news at night, which stated that the vesps can't stand intense cold weather. Hence, people above the Arctic Circle are surviving. She also tells him about regions called the Grey. These are places where electricity has gone out, and people are being cut off from the world when the battery of their phone or computers are dying. It is almost as if the Dark Ages have arrived again. Later that day, the Reverend and his cult members show up at Hugh's hideout. He again asks Hugh to join their cult, but is again turned down. As Hugh proceeds to go back inside, the Reverend stops him and writes him a creepy note, which reads, "The girl is fertile." Hugh looks them up and down and goes back inside. The Reverend and his cult members assume Hugh is going to fetch his fertile daughter for them, but he returns with a damn rifle instead. However, the lunatics are unfazed, as they know Hugh won't shoot them, which would create a loud noise and jeopardize his family. Despite this, Hugh takes the safety of the rifle off, and the cult members finally go away. Later that evening, Allie gets a message from Rob. He tells her that he is headed north of the country to the refuge. It is a place where all the people can be safe from the creatures. But before Allie gets to ask him more about it, she loses her phone signal. At midnight, Hugh and Kelly wake up to noises coming from outside. He grabs his rifle and checks the main door, while Kelly wakes Lynn and Jude up. Hugh doesn't see anyone at the door. However, when Jude checks, he notices a little girl his age standing outside. The girl looks afraid, so Kelly decides to let her in. Worried, the Andrews family provides her with a warm blanket and asks her how she got here, but the little girl does not respond. Just then, Kelly notices some scars on the girl's jaw, and Hugh inspects her mouth. They discover to their horror that the girl doesn't have a tongue. She is a member of the Reverend's cult and most likely sent by him. The Andrews family have been set up. They check her waist and realize that she's been strapped with multiple mobile phones. Meanwhile, Allie wakes up in her room and notices a phone taped to a cross on her window. The phone alarm suddenly starts to go off and attracts the creatures, freaking Allie out. The phones strapped to the little girl also start to go off, and the family scrambles to take them off. Hugh dumps the phones in the water while Allie runs into the living room. As everything is happening, the creatures start breaking their windows. Hugh and Jude try to keep the vesps out, while Allie and others go into the basement to hide. Unfortunately, masked cult members had been waiting for Allie, and they grab her from the basement. Kelly attacks the men, but they kick her into the wall, knocking her down. The men carry Allie out, and the little girl also goes with them. Enraged, Lynn leaves the safety of the house and follows the men outside. She grabs two of the three men and signals Allie to flee. The girl obliges, and as soon as she reaches a bit far, Lynn, who is still holding the cult members, starts screaming at the top of her lungs. This eventually attracts the vesps, and they rip the three humans to shreds. The rest of the family also comes outside, but all they can do is watch in horror. Just then, the Reverend shows up and abducts Allie. Before leaving, he even taunts Hugh to stay silent. However, taking advantage of the rain, Hugh, Kelly, and Jude quietly follow them and launch a surprise attack. An enraged Hugh strangles the cult leader with a rifle, but the Reverend stabs him with a knife in the waist. However, Hugh summons all his strength and again gets back up. He uses his late best friend Glenn's classic headbutt and knocks the cult leader down as Kelly takes the other cult members out. She then helps her husband by taking the knife out of his waist. The Reverend attempts to get up, but Hugh again gets on his case. This time, he hammers the cult leader to death with the rifle. After the encounter, the Andrews family returns home, while the tongueless girl walks away with her mother. Following this, the movie fast forwards by a few weeks, where the family is seen trekking across the country. They initially arrive at the safe haven that is the refuge. In the final scene, Allie and Rob are hunting vesps in the forest. The movie ends as Allie wonders whether the vesps will adapt to the cold, and if the humans will adapt to the life of silence, like she did when she lost her hearing. In other words, very little progress has been made since the beginning of the movie. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.